own e-commerce business and worked with companies such as Staples, Backcountry USA, and 1-800-Flowers. About 10 years ago, he moved back to West Virginia, where he worked with the Community and Technical College system of West Virginia, and now he works with BridgeValley Community and Technical College as the Chief Marketing Officer there. He is married to Sarah, has a young 8-month-old son named William Trout, and when he's not at BridgeValley Community and Technical College, he likes to fly fish. And one of the things he does with his fly fishing is work with a group entitled, I've got to remember this, Project Healing Waters, that works for the rehabilitation of disabled veterans through fly fishing, which you may have some interesting questions about that as well. Brian, I've known Brian for a long time. It's good to have him here. And Brian, come and tell us what's going on at BridgeValley. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to, BridgeValley is a relatively new community college. We happened through the merger of Kanawha Valley Community College, which was at West Virginia State, and Bridgemont, that was at WVU Tech. And kind of BridgeValley's focus is empowering people to discover and reach their full potential. We kind of provide an affordable education option with an atmosphere that's supportive for students who may struggle with that transition to college. And then we also emphasize maturity and accountability. We do a lot of partnerships with our business partners, and the feedback that we always get is we need college students to understand what goes to work. So that's also something that we stress and emphasize with our graduates. We partner with IT, manufacturing, business, and healthcare companies to do a variety of co-ops and partnerships with local businesses to provide our students that hands-on experience they may not get in a 4-year internship, and then also to provide them a good pathway to a traditional degree. And what we mean by that, so BridgeValley has a number of articulation agreements with friends from Marshall, WVU, and UC. So students who may struggle going to college for a variety of reasons, they can come to BridgeValley, save some tuition dollars, explore kind of what they're really passionate about, and then transfer to a 4-year degree often as a junior. So that's a great advantage that we provide our students. We serve a 6-county region. We include Fayette, Raleigh, Nicholas, Clay, Putnam, and Kanawha counties. And we have 2 campuses, one located in Montgomery and one in South Charleston. And then we also have the Advanced Technology Center in South Charleston. Our campus in South Charleston, is everyone familiar with the old Union Carbide Tech Park? We're located up there. So, speaking of the tech park, you might have seen in the news that we had a few headlines. I would just like to clarify that our lease agreement has been settled for the next 3 years. During a lot of those headlines, BridgeValley was advised from our legal counsel to continue good faith negotiations and not have an argument in the media, so we remain kind of quiet. But one point I would like to stress before we move on from that was all that dispute was never because the college was in financial trouble. We had a dispute with our landlord, that is a state agency. They were saying, oh, you haven't paid us $1.8 million, which was their estimate. But we couldn't pay because we never got an invoice. And anyone who's ever worked with any state government, you can't buy gum without an invoice. So that was sort of that going on. Just want to reassure you the college is healthy and in financial good standing. So on to good news you might have seen recently is 2 weeks ago we were awarded a $1.58 million scholarship from the AEP Foundation. Thank you. And what that is part of the Credits Counts program. And what BridgeValley is going to do with that, so for over the next 5 years, we're going to reach out to an estimated 2,200 students through Riverside and Nitro high schools. There'll be, at the high school level, we're going to offer dual credit programs so those students can get high school credit for science and math classes and then also transfer towards BridgeValley credit. Those degree programs are going to be in advanced manufacturing and IT. But the other stage of that is also working with the middle schools to cultivate that interest in STEM scholarship. And we're going to work with each of the feeder schools for those high schools. That's 4 in the county. And we're going to do some after-school programming, some family fun events to really kind of foster an interest in STEM scholars to kind of revolutionize West Virginia's workforce. Excuse me. Another thing I want to talk about is some of the benefits, because since not a lot of folks are familiar with BridgeValley, some of the benefits that we offer our students, our employers, and our community. As I touched on before, BridgeValley offers an affordable college education to students where they can gain the skills to either enter the workplace, start their own business, or continue on to a four-year degree. Aside from the financial benefits I kind of touched on, BridgeValley, we offer a lot of support for our students that not necessarily is mirrored in four-year schools, including robust academic support, emotional counseling and support we offer for free of charge. And then we also partner with some of our state agencies like Workforce West Virginia and the Department of Health and Resources through things like a TANF grant, which is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. So we work with those people struggling to really attain that college education on a number of levels to keep them on track. So now I'd like to touch that you might be interested in is more of the benefits that we offer for employers. Through our Workforce and Economic Development Division, we have a variety of partnerships we do with local employers. We can do on-site training for things such as OSHA, all the way up to a fully integrated cooperative relationship like we have with the Toyota Buffalo plant. There, students take classes 2 days a week with us. They work at the Buffalo plant 3 days a week. They earn a salary of, over that 2 years, an estimated $40,000 to $60,000, depending on their overtime. And they graduate with a manufacturing degree and have an opportunity to go with Toyota full-time. That is not just for our larger employers, I'd like to add. There is a great opportunity called the West Virginia Learn and Earn Grant. And in a summary, you take on an intern from BridgeValley or any of your community colleges. I shouldn't say just BridgeValley. And students work for you 2 or 3 days a week. They finish while they're concurrently finishing up their degree. And the state of West Virginia will pay up to 50% of their salary. And again, it provides students on-job training at a benefit to the state. It provides you an opportunity to get some help around the office. And also a lot of our employers view this as the longest job interview possible. So which is, I many years ago worked in HR and have made the mistake where they're fantastic in the interview and then an hour late for work every day. So it provides you that opportunity to kind of avoid some of those pitfalls. I'd like to talk about some of the benefits that we offer our community now. 18 months ago, BridgeValley welcomed our second president, Dr. Eunice Ballinger. She brought a lot of extensive background in online learning, and then also she worked in the community college system of New York. When she came, she brought a new vision for how the community college should engage with the community. In the past, community college system and BridgeValley focused on creating a workplace environment that students would transition, and we worked almost like a manpower organization. She wants to do more engagement and really feels as part of the community it's some of our opportunity for our students, but also our obligation to help revitalize our communities. A key aspect of that we kind of touched on with the AEP grants is our outreach through K through 12 students. BridgeValley sponsors the Pumpkin Drop at Appalachian Park every fall. This year I think we had over 1,500 students statewide participate. We also foster, we also hold Logo robotics competitions for younger students. We do Discover Engineering Day and really around that STEM scholarship, reaching out to the high schools and into the elementaries even to try to cultivate that interest in math and science. Another aspect that was traditionally our only outreach in community engagement. Under our new president, we're doing a bigger role in partnering with community groups, employers, state agencies to take a larger role in community planning. A large part of this you might have seen is some of the developments going on with Montgomery, with the YMCA opening up there, KVC. We're being an active participant in that, trying to help cultivate some of an art scene in Montgomery, some entrepreneurship, which we're really striving for. So that's kind of a change that we've had. And then we are working in this end of the valley with various groups on the west side, Goodwill, some of Dr. Watson, Reverend Watts initiatives, and KISRA to kind of figure how we can help revitalize that end of Charleston and get more of those students a college degree. And finally, touching on this, BridgeValley is a good investment for the state of West Virginia. In a recent study that came out this summer from the West Virginia WVU Bureau of Research and Business Statistics, BridgeValley returns about $30.1 million to the local economy, which is a good investment for the taxpayers since we get roughly, directly from the taxpayers, about $8 million. So we're putting that back into the economy. We, at our locations, both Tech Park and in Montgomery, we have about 250 to 300 employees, depending on class load. And we graduate about 500 to 600 students annually with a college degree to help attract new businesses and grow the business we have, and hopefully encourage these students to start a business of their own. So it covers my 5 to 10 minutes. Can I answer any questions for you all about BridgeValley or anything like that? Sure.
I think it would be helpful to go into detail on what the STEM program is.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm sorry, as we are acronym rich in higher education. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And those programs, it's been kind of initiative for the past, it started with the previous administration as an initiative to really foster younger students into those programs, because the workforce, we're needing more. What they talk about are middle skills that are people that have technical skills without necessarily a four-year degree. So we have reached out with the high schools to kind of foster that. We do that through some of our Lego robotics, some of our Vex robotics, which are, in a sense, we used to have, when I was in that age, we had Quiz Bowl and kind of things. Now, they don't stand up and answer questions and give note cards. The kids are programming robots and building computer simulations. So that's sort of our younger outreach. And then with our students, it's really doing a lot of those co-op and partnerships where they get those technical skills in a workplace that you just can't teach in a classroom. So kind of answer everyone's questions about that.
What's required from employers about the West Virginia Earn Learn?
Generally, you have to hire there's an application process. I can get you more information, but you write up a position that you would want to through BridgeValley. Once that's squared away, we would write a grant and send that grant into the central office. I believe it's 15 hours a week on the minimum, 10 to 15, and you have to pay what is known as a competitive salary. So we had a partnership with Learn and Earn with the Scomp plan. So the Gestamp new employees made, I want to say, 14 something an hour. So the interns had to come in at a competitive rate. State of West Virginia covered $7 of those dollars as a refund back to that industry. And those students were training on machine tool technology and some of the machinery they have there 3 days a week while earning an associate's. Yes, ma'am.
How do they apply for the scholarships? Is it usually through the schools or
For the
any of the ones that you offer?
Oh, any of the scholarships that we have, the first step is you fill out your FAFSA, which is another acronym, free application for student financial aid. That's your beginning. And then they would meet with a counselor to determine what local scholarships they are qualified for. And then we have institutional scholarships where people have donated and created chairs and trusts. And then also there's federal aid through Pell Grants and financial aid.
What about people who are like homeschool students? How do they get to something like that?
Through a homeschool student, you would meet with the financial aid and academics folks. Usually we have an open enrollment, so anyone is conditionally enrolled once you complete the paperwork. Those students would, depending on, they would have their certification from homeschool, which is like but I don't remember what it's technically called.
Yeah.
Their homeschool graduation certificate, and then they would take a placement exam, either SAT or ACT nationally, or we offer the AccuPlacer, which is an in-house free placement testing that's not needed for admission, just only to place you in the current math to determine do you need remediation in math or English, or are you good for 101 or 102.
So that's after they fill out the FAFSA, they go in and talk to your
Yes, but they can meet with the admissions folks to get a general idea before, but to officially start the process, you'd have to do any financial aid, you have to get the FAFSA squared away first.
You mentioned programs that you have going on like for these, I forget exactly how you explained it. Do you have programs outside of school you're doing?
Yeah, so we have, and again, so it's like a cooperative program. where we have, I think right now we're working with 27 employers. And we do right at home to do for some of our certified nursing assistants. We work with Jacobs Engineering for a couple of our engineering technology students. And those relationships get created differently with each business. In some instances, we meet businesses doing engagements like this, and they say we're interested. We work through our workforce development folks. In other instances, our motivated student will help kind of make that relationship with a company they want to work with, a school, create their own.
So those are basically designed to help them get interested into the field that they're interested in going into, or just to give them work experience in general?
Work experience. We do a lot of outreach and meetings with our sector or with our industry partners that we divide into sectors. And the most important thing not the most important thing, the point they always bring to us is we need college graduates who understand what it means to go to work. We have, and that's their biggest complaint, from manufacturing to healthcare to IT. Like, they need to understand what it means to be in a workplace and how to behave, and this is a way, I mean, I will not
That's
go
this
on with the
generation. Yeah, I
numerous
get it.
tales and email addresses that people have sent to employers. But it's a good way to get those students. The companies get to review a student they might hire, and with a lot of these small businesses, I mean, I had a small business at one point. When you hire an employee, it's a huge commitment.
Mm-hmm.
In many instances, it's like I'm buying a new facility. So they get to, this is a company's benefit, they get discount labor, they get to review, make sure this is the kind of person they want with their company long term.
Mm-hmm.
The student learns what it means to be in a workplace and gain the skills that they may not get in the classroom. So it's kind of a win-win for both. We're trying to help small businesses, then also help our students understand what it means to go to work, which is, we're always shocked, but not anymore, that was, what can we help you students? What it means to go to work. Show up on time, show up every day. So those are kind of things.
And
Yes, sir.
that's a strong need for this state, because in our industry and in other industries with people I know, for such a long time in the country, we push students to get a 4-year degree. You gotta get a 4-year degree, you gotta get a 4-year degree. And now we don't have people who are, the worker bees that could go out and get things done. And that's kind of a lot of what you put through in your programs are 2-year degrees.
So when we work with, for example, with you guys, we're working with the Utility Lawn Service Program. I apologize, that's me. You can decline that. So we work with the Utility Lawn Service Program. Do you know Mike King? Mike King worked.
Yeah.
So Mike King is a retired AEP person. He identified, and that's awful.
Just sit on it.
So that's a good example where there was a huge need for utility line service people. We hired Mike King to help work with AEP to develop a curriculum that matched your needs and the industry needs. And then we have that program starting middle of January. We're doing a site in Huntington towards the end of January, and I think another one in March. So it's a roughly one year program. Those students get pole climbing is their first, because apparently that weeds out those students who really weren't sure for it. And then they do electric service 1, which is a component, and they'll graduate with a certificate after a year. The students who do well can work for AEP and return and finish up their associate through maintenance and safety, electric line service 2, and a couple other programs. We've started that. We've graduated our first programs. Will graduate this May. That program's growing. We started with 20. 15 made it through pole climbing, and they're hoping to graduate in May, and we're starting up 3 more cohorts.
Oh.
This thing. Sorry.
So I was gonna say, do you have all those programs listed somewhere online, or do you?
Of all the programs that we offer in the Learn and Earn?
Yeah,
No, because we will tailor that to the company's needs.
okay.
I've got folders that I didn't pass out because I learned in one of my communication classes, if you give people something to look at, they won't pay attention to what you say.
Yeah.
But in that, I've got a list of all our programs and some missions materials, and my card if you have any questions. Anything else I can ask you about BridgeValley? Yes, sir.
How was Nitro and Riverside chosen for the grant? Was that an AEP decision, or?
I don't know. And the way that was is they worked with Kanawha County Schools to write that grant. So BridgeValley partnered with Kanawha County Schools to submit to the AEP Foundation. I didn't write the initial stages of the grant. I don't know how those schools were selected. They are two of the schools closest to our South Charleston campus, but as to how they were selected, I really don't know.
And they're both on each side of Charleston, so you don't
I
have
know
to
they
have.
wanted to cover the valley, and the feeders, and they had a good feeder school system, but why they were selected, I can't
Yeah.
speak to it. I know that Nitro has a strong STEM program itself, and Riverside's desperately in need, so that might have been something related to it.
With the changes up at Montgomery with Tech
Mhm.
moving to Beckley, how will that change? Will that change anything that BridgeValley does there?
So as you see in the paper, BridgeValley leased some of the tech facilities for 3 years. And the question up there is KVC Health Systems is moving on to the Montgomery campus. We are the KVC, so what that project's gonna be is KVC wants to offer for students transitioning out of foster care, an opportunity to come to Montgomery campus and get a college degree while transitioning from foster care into that. During that process, KVC is sort of their legal guardian. We are the academic support and providing all the coursework for that. That is still an initial planning process, and we're not sure of the details of when that's all gonna be started. But that will be a key role. That's another one of the reasons that the Y has moved up there to support that initiative. So we are gonna do that, and then also Montgomery, as I touched on, we're doing more community outreach. We're working with, there's a number of Upper Kanawha Valley revitalization committees and groups. We're sitting on those, and we've been working with the Town of Montgomery, local artisans group, a citizens group, and the county commissioners from Fayette and Kanawha, and have reached out to Virginia Tech's, the urban planning and civic engineering department, and they're helping formulate a community plan for Montgomery. As another part of that, the legislature created that committee last session. They are working with the Aspen Group to do a workforce and economic plan from the Shillian Bridge up to Gully Bridge. No, I'm wrong, up to Hyco. So pretty much once you get off at Shillian, if you were gonna shortcut the turnpike over Gully Mountain, they want to create a unified plan for economic development for that whole region.
Oh.
And that's another group that we've participated in. Because in the past, each little town has done their own thing, and there has been butting of heads and egos back and forth. So we're working with that for that end. So that will, we don't know, we're gonna cooperate and help participate in the results of that plan. We're not sure what they are. So we have those buildings in Montgomery on $1 a year lease. So we'll have the capacity to meet whatever the recommendations are gonna be. And that's one of the flexibility that a community college has, that we don't have the same accreditation. We do have accreditation, I shouldn't say that. We don't have a lot of the same accreditation and organizations, so we have to get everything approved through as like a four-year college, so we can be a lot more responsive to the needs of the economy and to, the community. So in that sense, we're gonna wait and see what all Montgomery's gonna look like, but there's a number of plans in place. Yes, sir.
Back in 2001, when I started the Power Plant Technology Program, I assume Ron Rogelio is still there?
Ron Rogelio is still with us.
Yes, good. The AEP, for my young AEP friend, we got $300,000 to start that program. And of course, then they started drilling gas, and power plant jobs went down the tubes, and the program doesn't exist anymore, am I correct?
Correct. Ron heads up our construction management program. That's his primary, and then he helps with the other technical education. He helps out with some of the line service. He teaches classes he teaches classes to our Toyota students.
For your information, that was the third power plant technology program started in the nation. The first one was at Bismarck State College out in North Dakota. And one was at Ivy Tech up at or Youngstown, I think. So, but that was when you were West Virginia State Community Technical
Yes.
College.
So I was when I started when I moved back to West Virginia. I started with the community college system, and I was heading up the community college system efforts, and then with each of the two colleges. And since that time, we had 5 names in 2 years. So we initially on that end was community college. They both had the longest names possible. One was the Community and Technical College at the Institute of Technology at West Virginia University. And the other one was the Community and Technical College at the West Virginia State University camp. For some reason it had institute in the title, and I can't remember why.
That's when Hazo was still alive.
I didn't have a football team before he put on a helmet.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
biggest problem we had back then was the students coming in. The math just wiped them out. You still have the same problem?
We say that problems now. And you've seen that in the paper where last week a study came out that more college students are needing remediation once they enter college. If you work with a student like that in your family, I would urge them to try to just look at coming to BridgeValley for 2 years and then transferring onto a 4-year degree. I mean, it's a financial savings, but they get that academic support. And we have a lot of students that'll come in this semester or next semester that will transfer from small school. I went to Herbert Hoover, I grew up in Clendenin, and then these students who leave that similar background and go to WVU or go to Marshall sometimes are just overwhelmed with everything. For those students, we offer a good opportunity to get your college credits, kind of grow up a bit, learn things. And then those students, there's actually a study last year where students who entered their 4-year degree after doing 2 years of a community college graduated roughly at 17 to 18% higher than those students who went straight in. So for those students who are kind of at risk or may need a little more time to grow up, either in the classroom or outside of it, it's a good opportunity for them to get that at home, still have that support, get the additional academic support, and then pursue their 4-year degree. And like I said, we have a number of articulation agreements, so usually they enter as a junior.
All right, we have one more question, time for one more question. Anybody have? any
Yes,
more
ma'am.
questions?
Excuse me, the cost of this for the student is what? Do you charge for how many credit hours they're taking?
For just tuition in general,
Pardon?
for the Learn and Earn, or
Just if I were paying tuition to come to your school.
we're structured like most other colleges. I think we're $305 in-state per credit hour. And then once you reach 12 hours, you're a full-time student.
Okay.
And then after that, you can take up to 18 hours. And then I think we don't have our overload. So you can take anything above 18 hours after that. I mean, 12 and on up
But you
is
know,
all
you're
full-time
absolutely
student.
right. When we interview at the bank, it's unbelievable when someone comes out of college with a 4-year degree, etc. They have no communication skills whatsoever.
That's another struggle that we're having with students.
If they can write it or they can text it, they're fine, but to actually face to face,
So I
it's
usually
really quite
take a
sad.
couple of the students from the marketing department, our school, and try to do internships. I don't have one this year, but that was every time the struggle I had for the last few years was they've never done public speaking.
Right.
And I tried to prepare a speech. I'm like, well, okay, you guys are gonna go. I took them to a business after hours just to meet with people and tried to do them. And I'm trying to get them to do presentations like this, and they're just mortified. Is that?
Amazing.
I'll have one more plug, not related to BridgeValley. As Els touched on, I also work with a group called Project Healing Waters. And what we do is we take disabled vets or vets returned from home, and we kind of help them transition and find a little peace through rod building, fly tying, and fly fishing. If you know of any vets in the area that might benefit from that, I'll pass on my information. Please have them shoot me an email. I'd love to get them involved. It's making those connections with those guys is also a challenge.
That's awesome. All right, well, thank you so much.
Oh,
for
thank you.
coming. We have these. Yes, our two speakers tonight come.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
There you go.
All right, that's
Thank you,
great. That was
everyone.
really good. That's great information.